mic for a minute, and I forgot to turn it back on. Anyway,
he unplugged.
I find some of the stuff that floats around is mainly that's not good information in some of the podcasts and some of the YouTube videos and some of the shows.
All right.
Yeah, Jason cut out for me.
I did. Yeah, I was wondering if anybody else lost sound.
Another
It's out
thing.
for me as
I'll
well.
send him. I'll
Can you
send
guys
him a
hear me
note.
now?
We
Yep.
hear you
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Jason.
Yeah,
Go
we-
ahead.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you.
Anyway, the whole thing was where did I cut off? Anyway, I'll just start over again. So the inaccuracies are mainly to do with some of the information about.
Lost you again.
Yeah, the mute keeps going on by itself, but it's mainly just to do with some of the whistleblowers and the information that's being said about them, and even myself. I'd prefer that people, if you want to, I think, know.
So,
Oh boy, let the games begin.
Jason, a
Yeah,
lot of people want to know what you're saying right now. I'm not sure what your phone says at the top right, most likely. But
Yeah.
if you're on Wi-Fi, maybe turn your cell data off.
Well, just have them jump out
Yeah,
and back in.
I just want to
probably
like
the best
go
way.
and go
Okay,
through.
hang on a second. Let me
The
turn-
deep state of silence,
This is
Jason.
such.
Hey, I'm gonna dump my Wi-Fi as well. I'm in
There
a
we go.
shitty coverage spot, so let's see if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, I'm only on Wi-Fi now, so I
Yeah,
think
this is
I'm
another thing
good.
about these spaces.
You're
that
good. We can hear you,
I'll be able
Jason.
to find
All
the-
right. Sorry about
all the
that, man.
tweets
That's
have-
the first time
are-
I've seen
haven't
my mic
been
get turned on and
working.
off, unless it was
And I think-
NSA messing around.
It's
But
better
Now I
than-
can't hear anyone. Maybe it'll come back.
but anyway, can you still hear me?
We
I
can.
can hear
I
you,
think
yeah.
the
Okay.
host can't. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it's mainly the inaccuracies
I do
about
too.
some of the whistleblowers and people that I know personally. I think they would prefer
No problem,
the
buddy.
questions be asked directly to them, but then again, it's on them if they want to provide some kind of a venue or spokesperson for people to ask them directly about stuff, about their background and why they said certain things. Because I hear that a lot of times that people are taking out of context something that was said by David Grush, and I know that that's not what he said.
David Grush.
And that's mainly one of the things. And then the other piece is that, I don't know, I guess I don't know enough about intergalactic organizations and interplanetary stuff, but there's a lot of people that'll go out on a limb and talk about that stuff. And I just wonder where they're getting the information sometimes.
Wait,
Because I just don't either have that experience, and maybe they do.
wait. I
But-
thought
but
this
I find
guy.
that kind of hard to swallow at this point, because some of the stuff they say is just
I thought this guy is claiming to be a part of this 20 and back program. So what does he mean he doesn't know about?
doesn't have logical flow, honestly. So it's just one of those things where I think most people have the common sense to know the difference between somebody who actually has knowledge and somebody who doesn't. And I think that's the other thing, is that we have to be good
Nobody
as a
gets him.
community
He sounds like
to
he knows.
really kind of handle that, especially if
Sounds
you're
like he
the
handles himself
keeper of the podcast or the keeper of the video, to know when somebody's going off the rails and is losing your audience. Because they're also losing people like myself, where I'm like, good grief, what is this person saying?
I agree with him, actually.
And
100%.
then you're actually helping the people that are trying to cover it up as well, because they're like, haha, another podcast goes down the tubes for the people that are trying to keep up the deceptions.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I think should be addressed in the UAP circles, and the people that really want to get to the root of it.
Thoughts on the Victor video?
Thank you.
One more time, Red.
Oh, my camera died.
Thinking the second part was about Arrow and Kirkpatrick and this recent FOIA dump about the correspondence between Mela and Kirkpatrick and Grush.
Yeah, I think he was a bit too cavalier. I don't think he did justice to a lot of folks' other work. I don't think he looked at a lot of that, before he put together his report. So it was mainly based on him and his group of his think tank rather than collaboration. And that may be a fallacy that maybe he fell into, and it ended up being something that unfortunately might lead to some backlash from the people that actually have done some really hard research in the UAP community, as well as some of the people in the IC community that
Materialist, you know,
Yep.
all the other descriptors. And I just think this is all just crazy wackadoo stuff. What would you say to me?
My God.
you kind of cut out there for a minute. You did your robo thing.
That was someone else.
Fuck?
So
What
if
was
I was
that?
super skeptical, I was a debunker, and you were just,
That's
you know,
what I
you're
call
in
an
good
NSA
company
tap.
right here. You know, we're all loving the.
Oh yeah.
But if it was someone else, and I thought this was all just bullshit, you know, some government psyop or something else, like, what would you say to someone like that?
Quite frankly, I would just say, okay, well, you're welcome to your opinion, but you know, you're talking to a guy that actually has talked to some very high-ranking individuals in the land, and none of them have thought that I was full of crap. Anybody who meets me, honestly, has said the same thing, that I'm very genuine. I'm just a normal guy that seems to have, you know, been through some very strange stuff, and honestly, that's who I feel I am. I can't be more genuine than I already am, and if that's not good enough, I just don't know what to tell you, honestly. Because, like I said, there's going to be people that I know, even if I walked out of some facility with an alien in tow or UAP on my back, there's still going to be people that sit there and go, "Oh, you made this up," you know,
Plenty of
and you just can't help that. And so that's all I have to say about it, is that
Right.
I've done everything I can to verify who I am. If that's not good enough, then that's on you. I'm sorry. I don't know who else you can verify it with.
Right.
If you know, because these people that verified me are in the databases that nobody else.
All right, so he's about to go into who can verify him, and this is part of my list. This is part of what I wanted to talk about. It's part of my pros and cons list. I think it could be a pro or a con for him. If he's lying, the people he's about to mention, I think this is where it's going, he's going to mention some pretty big names in the UFO field, and they could easily put the kibosh on this if he is not being truthful with what he's about to say. So, and I've not seen a statement from anybody yet. So I'm weary. I just, but it also is kind of a good thing. You know, no answer is kind of a good answer in this kind of circumstance. So I don't know where that is going to be at, but
else is privy to, except unless you're read in, and they already know who I am from those databases, and I don't know how much more real I can get.
Okay, so, and again, this sounds like a gotcha, but it's not. But you're basically, your argument is an appeal to authority, and that's, in my mind, that has merit. But whether it's when when James Fox's documentary comes out or whenever, like
Right.
these
first mention of the
these
doc
credentials you're listing will eventually be publicly known, right?
Yeah, I guess so. If it ever comes to it, I don't know how much they can share because the databases themselves are classified.
So, but do you see the predicament there? Because there are some really skeptical debunker people who are like engaged in motivated reasoning against all of this, who will say, look, if you're not willing to list the people who vouch for you, that, you know, this appeal to authority, then how do we know to take you at your word?
Well, I guess I'd have to appeal to the Congress, Aero, and ICIG who did the verifications, and say, hey, look, you know, if you're okay with them, with telling people you verified me, then go ahead and make
the
that
ICIG,
statement
which
in
is
my
the
favor.
intelligence community.
That's all I can do.
In general, the
I'm
police
sure
of
that
the
you know, maybe at some point, like I've
government,
produced other
three-letter
proofs of
agencies.
my military service, and that I was indeed stationed at Nellis Air Force Base during those years that I've already mentioned here in this podcast. Those are
Again,
unclassified. I
brings
could
back
probably share
to
those
his
on a public
career.
forum or something at some point if I felt comfortable doing so. And at least that would show that, yeah, I was where I said I was during the years that I said I was. But that won't tell you that I was read into this or read into that. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of disconnect there because those are classified databases.
Well, and you're not purporting to be, nor do any of us, I think, expect you to be the smoking gun. All this, you're not capital D disclosure, but you are a stepping stone toward that, and I think we all appreciate that. So thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
Rich, go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you, Jason. Are you aware of an amnesty agreement or a truth embargo forthcoming?
Yes, that was something I discussed with Congress a number of times, that there needed to be an amnesty clause for people that want to come forward that are in the program, that they can have the same immunities as I have had.
That's
and that they also have the
bold.
safe passage to come forward and be dealt with appropriately in classified settings if need be, and all that kind of stuff. I think that everybody deserves that because they are performing a service for our country, and that they should be allowed to do things like whistleblow without any repercussions and have immunity from anybody who meant them harm.
I also meant for the others as well. I'm sorry, for the others as well.
Others as in other whistleblowers?
No, the other beings.
Oh, them. Them.
Yep.
Well, that's a whole different can of worms. I would say that, yeah, they're welcome to come anytime they want. I mean, honestly, my impression, just having had contact with one of them, I don't think they have a real compunction one way or the other, whether they want to come forward or not. I think it's mainly just, they're operating here on Earth for their own reasons. And for the time being, that they have their own reasons as to why they don't want to be public. They'd rather be private. And for me, I can imagine what maybe some of their motivations are, just like everybody else, that we're just not ready for that kind of contact. That it also exposes them
claiming right now
to the dangers of people trying to politically use them as a ploy to get elected, or to steal their technologies, or to capture them and imprison them. Those are all real dangers that they've already maybe even had reality.
Okay, so when he says they, he's referring to
done
NHI
just that
at this point.
Matter of fact, I remember hearing about a lot of different people that have encountered UFOs that took their shotgun out and started shooting at it, and stuff like that. We're a strange bunch.
Sorry, that's just Texas.
So I think those are all good motivations as to why these people might, if they're NHIs or want to come forward. I would like to think that our government would give them amnesty. I would give them amnesty. I mean, honestly,
if an NHI
I would view
came
them as a
forward,
friend mainly.
My
But
God,
there's some people that are just
that would end it.
Not accepting of any of that. They would probably just lose their mind.
Thank you.
What?
Rob, you sound like
what in God's name was
Optimus
that?
Prime.
That's not Optimus. From Superman.
Yes, we do realize that we are insignificant and live on planet Earth.
Yep. Well, I tend to think that sometimes my own self. I'm pretty insignificant when it comes down to it.
I don't know what Rob just said. Rick Ford, go ahead.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you, Jason. You're doing your country well. You're a patriot to the people. And
wrapping up.
My question to you.
So I do want to say this. I am going to do my best to reach out to this Jason fella, and try to have a one-on-one conversation with him. I of course wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't reach out to him. So I do want to let let our audience know that. I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to be beating a door to this guy's path. I think I just beating a path to this guy's door. So I just don't know. We're already slated to have, Sarah Bressman Cosme tomorrow.